X-Men is not just one of the most exciting action platforming games for the Sega Genesis. With over 1 million copies sold, it's one of Sega's most popular games overall. X-Men started as a Marvel comic book created by the super team of Jack Kirby and Stan Lee way back in 1963. It wasn't their most commercially successful work, but artist Jim Lee's reboot, X-Men Volume 2, that was released in 1991, was wildly popular, and as of this recording, it is still the best-selling comic book of all time. The X-Men animated series premiered in 1992, bringing the franchise to a broader and younger audience. With all of this success, a video game adaptation was inevitable. With a diverse cast of characters, each with an interesting superpower, the X-Men seems like the perfect IP to make into a video game, although the previous X-Men game we got for the NES might make you think otherwise. As the Nintendo vs. Sega console wars heated up in the early 90s, 2 different X-Men games were developed for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. Ultimately, Sega's game would hit the market first, over a year and a half before X-Men Mutant Apocalypse released on Nintendo's system. Sega's X-Men was developed by Western Technologies Incorporated, an American company that had previously made a collection of games for use with Sega's light gun peripheral, the Menacer. One of the developers was Bruce Straley, who would go on to direct Uncharted 2: Among Thieves, and in 2013, he would serve as the lead developer on The Last of Us. Sega's X-Men features 4 playable characters which you can switch between on the fly. Cyclops can fry enemies with his Optic Blast, and Gambit can charge up a card for a homing attack. Wolverine slowly regenerates health and can extend his trademark Adamantium claws. And Nightcrawler is just super broken. His ability to teleport through anything is already pretty good, but you can even use it to damage enemies. Other characters can be called in as an assist. Rogue, Storm, and Angel deal big damage, and Iceman provides a platforming assist. You can even use Jean Grey in a 2-player game. That's right, Sega's X-Men can be played simultaneously by 2 players. I'm not sure the 2-player experience makes the game easier, but it definitely makes it more fun. The soundtrack was composed by Fletcher Beasley and has that classic Sega sound. Beasley would go on to compose for other Genesis titles, including Spider-Man, Doom Troopers Mutant Chronicles, and Outback Joey. So of course X-Men was a huge success when it released in March of 1993. Players and critics alike enjoyed the character switching action, making it one of the essential Sega experiences. The game sold over 1 million copies and went on to be the 17th best-selling Sega Genesis game of all time. The game got one true sequel on the Genesis, X-Men 2: The Clone Wars, in 1995, and while a 3rd game with an all-female cast called X-Women: The Sinister Virus was planned for 1997, it was ultimately canceled. In modern times, players and critics still appreciate X-Men for its well-animated visuals and intense old-school challenge. When IGN released their list of the top Genesis or MegaDrive games of all time, they ranked X-Men at number 27. Modern players that attempt this game will still have to deal with all of the challenges retro games are notorious for. X-Men is difficult. Your characters can take big damage from enemies, so a tactical approach is recommended. Losing even one character is a disaster, and if you lose all four, it'll be game over. But what if I told you the best strategies for completing all 6 stages with multiple different characters? What if I showed you enough secret tricks and glitches to beat the game in under 10 minutes? And what if I showed you the best way to defeat every boss? Even Magneto himself? Well, on today's episode of You Can Beat Video Games, we'll learn all of that and more. If you're new to the channel, we're doing deep dives on retro video games and giving you the professional strategies that can be used by the casual gamer. Please make sure to subscribe and check out youcanbeatvideogames.com for episode lists, news, and official You Can Beat Video Games merchandise. And please join our Patreon for access to an exclusive Discord community and a chance to vote on future episodes. This episode was suggested and voted on by members of our Patreon community. Let's get started. Alright, X-Men. First, let's talk about this level select code. Hold A, C, and down, then also press and hold start until you're asked to select a difficulty, then release those buttons and choose a hero. Over here you'll see 8 panels, and each one corresponds to a certain stage in the game. Stand in front of the one you want and press down and C to warp there. This trick will not work if you have a second controller plugged in, so unplug that thing. Back here at the title screen, if you wait for a moment, you'll see a text crawl that will tell you a little bit about the X-Men and their rival Magneto. All you really need to know to understand this game is that at Professor X's School for Gifted Youngsters, they have what's called the Danger Room, and this is a computer simulation that the X-Men use for virtual reality combat training. We are led to believe that Magneto, who is a very powerful mutant, but he's also an old man who survived World War II, well, he somehow developed a computer virus that could disrupt the Danger Room, and you can see him beaming the ones and zeros of it to Earth from outer space. Down here on the surface, we selected Hero difficulty, which is like the game's normal mode, and now we get to select our starting X-Man. We can choose Gambit, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, or Cyclops. This might seem like an important decision, but if you change your mind, you can just punch that blue button near the computer to pick someone else, and once we get into the action, you can pause the game to change X-Men, although we will be limited by how many times we can do that. We have 30 seconds to get a feel for the controls here in the Danger Room before we're automatically warped off to the first stage, but if you want more time, there's a machine you can smash in the upper right corner that will add 60 seconds to your Danger Room timer. So keep that in mind for later. We've arrived here in the Savage Land, and this is the first stage of the game. As Cyclops, press A to fire an optic blast. You can aim it in 8 different directions, and you can see that it doesn't use very much mutant power, which is that blue bar in the upper left. If you stay on the upper path, you'll eventually run into a wall, but down here in the cave we can punch this lever, and that will move the wall out of the way. you'll see that we also used our angel assist, and that's because in this cave, we'll find a hidden angel token. You can't bank these tokens, so make sure to use the angel you already have before you grab another one. This is where the wall would have been if we didn't flip that lever, and if you hold down A, you can charge up your Optic Blast, which does not use any more mutant power, but it does make Cyclops stand still. If you shoot one of those nests, you'll knock it down and find a health item inside. And if we work our way over here to the right, we can find another health restoring item. So if you were low on health before, you are in luck. In this game, you can press down and C to drop through some platforms. So work your way down here, but don't drop off the bottom, and then return to the top. If you need to do a big jump, double tap the jump button and then hold it in after the second press. Behind the waterfall, if you hold down and C, you'll drop through a platform and you should find an item to restore some of your mutant power. Not bad. We'll just keep using Cyclops' mutant power as we work our way over here to the treetops. And in this area, we want to go all the way to the top. There are some dangerous spikes down at the bottom, but up here at the top, we'll find a lever which will turn off most of them. So we're going to punch this guy and then punch this lever, and then you want to jump and follow that tree straight down, and you should land in a safe spot. You'll see that the spikes have been turned off, and we can continue over here to the right. We're about to fight the Juggernaut, so if you need some health, knock down this nest, but if you don't, you may want to save it for after the fight. Whenever we face the Juggernaut, there's an enemy that spawns on the right side, so we want to get rid of that guy first, and you'll notice that your character can't damage Juggernaut while he's charging, so you want to hit him whenever he stops at the end of the screen, and then quickly jump away to avoid his next charge. Your assist characters can damage Juggernaut while he's charging, so feel free to use Rogue, Storm, and Angel. You will get them back before the next boss. Now let's take a look at the strategy with Wolverine. Press A to extend the claws, and then wait on the left side of the screen. When Juggernaut charges towards you, jump over him a bit to the right, and in midair you're going to press and hold B while facing left, and you should do a claw attack. Make sure to go all the way through Juggernaut so that you land on the far left side of the screen, and you should be safe over there. That's a very easy way to defeat the boss. It's worth noting that if you take a beating against the Juggernaut, he will eventually just charge away and leave you alone, and you'll see him do that here. This is a dangerous strategy though, because you do not want to lose any characters in stage 1. If you get low on health, try to find a health restoring item, and don't be afraid to switch characters. You can switch characters up to 4 times here in stage 1. On the other side of the Juggernaut, make your way to the top of this area and then head to the right. You'll hear a noise and then a green, pterodactyl guy will appear. His name is Sauron, and you can jump on his back and ride him to the end of this area. Don't be tempted to grab this rogue token. You'll have to do this dangerous platforming, and if you fall off, you will be rescued, but you'll lose some of your mutant power. You'll get your rogue back anyways when you go through this door. So punch your way into the second part of this area, and then you want to just jump across these platforms. Assume that they will appear underneath you. And over here, we'll run into another boss, Zaldane. Zaldane will try to charge up energy balls and hurl them at you, so duck down and use your assists. Use Rogue, use Storm, and use Angel. Just make sure that Zaldane is on screen whenever you fire them off. Even if you use these assists out in the jungle, you'll get them back in time to fight this boss. Now let's look at another strategy. As Gambit, it is possible to hit this boss with your cards, but it doesn't always work. What you want to do is try to chase her closely and hit her as soon as she lands with your staff. If you get her into a loop like this, she'll just jump back and forth, and you can give her a good whacking each time she lands. Now let's take a look at the Savage Land as Nightcrawler. If you jump and hold down B, you'll do this gliding kick attack, which can cover a lot of ground very quickly. Your mutant power is the teleport, and if you just do it while standing in place, you can damage enemies and you won't use very much energy. Hold right and just tap A to go through that wall. If you press A for too long, you'll just teleport back to the left side and you won't want to do that. So just keep jumping and holding B to glide quickly through this stage. If you feel like you're gliding too far, let go of B and you'll drop out of it. Remember when you're using Nightcrawler's mutant power as a weapon that it's most effective just standing in place, so don't press any directions while you're firing it off. You can use it in the air though to cover some ground and to extend your jumps. You won't really need the lever there, you can just do a big jump to the right and you'll get across the spikes. And we are getting close to Juggernaut. Juggernaut cannot handle Nightcrawler. If you hold down A, he will charge right through you, and the strategy you want to use is wait for Juggernaut to stop at the end of the screen, jump up into the air, and hold down B to do a jump kick. As soon as you connect with his face, hold down A until he charges away, and that will keep you safe. Whenever you're done messing around, you can summon Angel, Storm, and/or Rogue, and don't forget you'll get those back before you have to fight the next boss, so it's not like you're wasting them. We can pick up some health over here on the left, and then we're going to work our way back to the top of this area so that we can ride Sauron over to the right side. This is where we'll meet Sauron, and we'll jump onto his back, and this time we're not going to go for the rogue token, we're just going to do a big jump whenever we get to that tree, and that will get you down here. 3 quick jumps will get you across here, and that water is toxic, so make sure not to fall into it. And here we'll face Zaldane as Nightcrawler, and you can see Nightcrawler can teleport in place to avoid her attacks. Then you just want to follow her closely, and if she gets away, teleport away from one of her energy bolts and continue your attack. Once you've had enough, make sure that she's on screen and use your assists to end the fight. Storm should probably do it here. And that's it. We've finished stage 1. Let's go back to our game where we were playing as Cyclops. After completing stage 1, we returned to the danger room. I guess technically we've been in the danger room the entire time, but you know what I mean. While you're here, try to smash these orbs to regain health and mutant power. If you need more time, you'll need to smash that machine in the upper right corner again, even if you smashed it earlier. You need to do that every time if you want to get the additional 1 minute. Doesn't look like we're gonna need any extra time, so we're here in stage 2, the Shi'ar Empire. I recommend any of the characters for this stage except for Gambit, because you'll notice that the enemies here are heavily armed, and you'll want to crouch down to attack them. Unfortunately, Gambit is not very good at ducking, and will often still be hit by projectiles when he's crouched down. There's a key in the room on the far right side that unlocks the door that leads to this lift, and that will bring you up to this area. Over here, you can keep punching the enemies that pop out of this door until none come out again, and then you can enter and you'll be able to trigger this lift. Although if you double tap the jump button, you should be able to get to the upper platforms without it. Remember that to do a big jump in this game, you want to quickly tap the jump button twice and hold it down after the second press. As Cyclops will Optic Blast our way through these enemies, and then if you punch this equals sign shaped button on the wall, you can open this door, And after clearing the enemies, you can go inside, and over here on the left, you'll find a health power-up. We should be able to go through this green door on the right, and on the other side we'll crouch down and blast another enemy. We want to work our way to the top tier here, because that's where we're going to find a key, and we'll use that key to open up the way to the right. The key is a circle with a K on it, and you'll find it in the center up here. So there it is. But don't forget that you can attack enemies from below with your Optic Blast. The key opens up a door here on the right, and inside we'll be able to go down to the lower level and proceed to the right. Stay down here on the ground floor so that you can attack the enemies on the upper tier more easily. These gold ones are a bit more dangerous. Watch out for the blasts that they shoot from their weapons. We'll punch our way through a few enemies back here and then head all the way to the right to activate a platform in the center of this room, and we can ride that up and then jump to get power-ups that refill our health and mutant power. Then exit on the right side. Jump and press down and A to fire an Optic Blast downward. That's a good way to take out enemies from above. You can also shoot them at an angle while charging a beam. We can drop through some floors here by pressing down and C, and once we go through this door that we've unlocked, there's an enemy in a vehicle which you will want to quickly blast with your mutant power. After clearing this next enemy, you'll see 3 panels in the background. If you destroy the one on the left last, you'll get a refill for your mutant power. And if you destroy the one in the middle last, you'll get a refill for your health instead. Up here we can find a storm token, so we'll use storm, and it's worth noting that when you're crouching down and using your beam as Cyclops, you'll automatically turn to the right if you just tap A, so you need to hold down A and then turn back to the left if you want to fire a crouched shot in that direction. If you press down and C while standing in the doorway here, you can access an area in the background where you can grab 2 power-ups for your mutant power and one that restores your health. Pretty good. Now we're going to head over here to the right, and we'll jump up onto this level where we can go through another door. Stay on the upper path here. The enemies are easy to remove whenever they pop out of those ships, and if you see an enemy riding a vehicle, make sure that you blast it twice, once to clear the vehicle and once to clear the enemy itself. We're looking for a panel on the lower tier that has one of those buttons shaped like an equals sign, and there it is. Whenever you find it, drop down and punch that button, and then drop down to collect the key that appears in the doorway. Over here, we can smash some panels, and if we do it in the correct order, we'll be able to grab a mutant power-up. If you hit those 3 panels in a different order, you'll get a health power-up instead. Quickly work your way to the right side of this ship, and when it starts moving, keep jumping to the right to stay on board. If you don't keep jumping, you'll fall off the back and take a bunch of damage. You can switch characters up to 3 times in Stage 2, so we'll change to Wolverine for this section. Watch those asteroids that fly by. When you see one fly across the top, jump up there and wait up on the top tier until you see one fly across the bottom, then drop down there. Keep repeating that pattern and make sure to clear the enemies as they emerge from the door. As Wolverine, press A to extend your claws and press B to attack with them. Even if you're just standing there while the claws are extended, you'll lose some mutant power, so you may want to put them away when you're not using them. After clearing enough enemies, the ship will stop and a bridge will be extended. Head across it and you'll enter the final part of this stage. Wolverine has an expanded moveset while his claws are extended, and that will allow him to do some flying attacks. These can even help you with platforming. If you've been smashing panels along the way, hit this one first to restore some energy to your mutant power, or hit this one first if you'd rather regain some health. To reach the boss, press down and C to go into the background here and ride on this platform in the center. It's time to face Deathbird. Oh no, not Deathbird. Lure Deathbird over into this corner, crouch down, and attack her as she bounces around. Enemies will be spawned as you damage the boss, so you'll eventually want to use your assists like Storm to finish the fight. Once Deathbird has been defeated, head down here and work your way to the far right corner. There's a health power-up to grab up here, then drop down through the floor and punch this button to end the stage. We'll get a message from Lilandra and, is this a simulation or not? It certainly seems to be very real right now. She thanks us for our assistance and then teleports us back to Earth. As Nightcrawler, we can make a total mockery of this stage. Because we don't need keys, we can just teleport through the wall. So we'll teleport through that wall and just keep heading to the right. Watch out for enemies whenever you see them. You can attack them, or you can use your teleport in place ability. That also works. Whatever you want to do, feel free, and you may want to take a moment to restore your mutant power every now and again, and there are plenty of power-ups in this stage to do that with. So we can head into the background here where we'll be able to grab some energy, and that will fill us back up so that we can teleport through more walls. If you're really trying to move fast, jump and use your gliding kicks. Over here, we'll continue our way across, and we're going to just go up on the very top here where we can jump and use those gliding kicks to cover more ground. There's a rogue token up here that we won't really need, and just keep working your way to the right. We've taken a bit of damage here, but I think we'll be okay. And for this wall, you want to jump and teleport up and to the right to go through. Work your way to the end of the ship. A couple teleports should get you back on track, and then we can start attacking the enemies. You can teleport in place to avoid the asteroids, and if you're trying to be conservative and get some of your mutant power back, you can use your crouched kicks to take out the enemies when they pop out of the door. But the best way to do it is to just stand in front of the door and use your mutant power as the enemies pop out. Once you understand the timing of this, you can easily destroy even the most powerful troopers as they appear. Just make sure that you're paying attention to the asteroids. You do not want to take so much damage here that you're forced to switch off of Nightcrawler. And then we can just go through the wall right here, and we are already at the boss. Even better, Deathbird is laughable as Nightcrawler. She will just jump into you and you can teleport in place for big damage. Use Storm to clear out the enemies that spawn, and then just work your way to the lower right corner to finish another stage. And yeah, Nightcrawler really is that good. Whenever we get back to Earth, we'll switch over to our other game where we were playing as Wolverine. Feel free to change characters while you're in the danger room by punching that blue button near the computer. And if you need to restore some health, we're going to try to clear out some of the orbs here. Although it looks like we're doing just fine. So I guess we'll hit a couple of the orbs just for fun. And as usual, if you need more time here in the danger room, destroy that machine in the upper right corner. After each stage, the orbs get a little bit more difficult to hit, so if you do need to use the time extension, it may get to be worth it later on. I think we're going to be okay, so we'll just allow ourselves to be teleported to the Excalibur Lighthouse. As the stage begins, we get a telepathic message from Professor Xavier. It seems like he knows what's going on, but he won't tell us for some reason. What, is the government listening to this conversation? Come on, Chuck, let us know what's going on here. In any case, the ground crumbles out from under you in this area, so hurry to the right. The next boss, Sabretooth, is quite easy to defeat. If you head over to this platform and stand in this position, he'll just freeze in place, and then if you jump up into the air, he will jump up onto the platform where you can crouch down and punch him. You may need to move a little bit to the left to get into range, but just keep repeating this pattern over and over again, and Sabretooth will be easily cleared. That's it, Sabretooth. I have the high ground. There's nothing you can do. You need to knock off this sword to be able to open the next door on the right, so make sure to do that, and then we'll be able to enter the next area. If you used any of your assists before entering, you will get them all back in here. There's a few panels we need to destroy to open the doors, and the first one is up in this area with the green wallpaper over on the far right side. You'll notice that this door has not been activated yet, so we'll need to hit a different panel to make that happen. This door has been activated, so that's what that first panel did, and now we can head down here into the basement. Watch out for those ghosts that float by. You'll want to jump over them so that they don't attack you. There's a hidden power-up back here, but we won't be able to go through the wall just yet, and I think it's about time that we gave Gambit a try. We need to head down here where we can smash a panel to open the next door, so that's the most important thing, but we'll also pick up these glasses that let us see the ghosts. So that's kinda handy. They're not that important to have, but if you take a big hit you'll lose them, and you may want to go back and collect them again. If you can hold on to the glasses long enough, you'll be able to find a hidden power-up up here. Not that one in between the doors, you can get that at any time, but there is one over here on the right side. We'll try not to get hit by any enemies in the meantime, and there it is. That one you'll need to have the glasses on to find. Gambit's mutant power fires a card that will home in on enemies, and you can charge it up for more damage. It does not use additional mutant power if you charge it up. There's a panel on the left side of this room that we need to hit, and before we'll be able to leave, we'll need to face the Juggernaut once again. I like to hop onto this platform as he charges by, and then you can quickly hit him and jump over him again. You can keep repeating that pattern, and don't be afraid to use Angel here. Juggernaut is not the final boss of this stage, so you may not want to use all of your assists, but there's an Angel token right here in this very room, so you can just get it right back. There's also a power-up for your health, so don't miss that as you exit. And we're going to try to avoid those enemies. We're still wearing the glasses, so that makes them a bit easier to see, but if you don't have the glasses on right now, it's not a big deal. We need to head back down to the basement. After we hit that panel near the Juggernaut, a new path has opened up. If we go up into this door and walk to the right behind this fence, we weren't able to go through that wall before, but now we can. Drop down through the floor, and we still have the glasses on, which is impressive. I usually have lost them by now, but we'll try to keep them on as long as we can. And we'll go all the way down here where we can find another panel, and you'll see it over here on the right. There it is. Destroy that panel, and there's a door right above that we will go into, and that will allow us to get to the far right side. Head over here to the right, enter this doorway, and now we can go through that wall and emerge on the other side. And in the lower right corner, we'll find an elevator, and that can take us all the way to the top. If you ride it to the very top, you can get a health power up, but we don't really need it. So we'll just head over here where we'll face Apocalypse. Apocalypse will draw in some energy, and you'll notice that it sort of tapers off from the top down. So whenever you see that happening, get ready to try to jump over his right shoulder. So we'll jump over the shoulder like that and try to move back to the right, and that will cause him to release the energy, and once he releases the energy, we'll be able to hit him. If he's big and has not released his energy, our attacks won't phase him, so just keep doing that pattern, and whenever he gets low on health, we can use Storm to finish the fight. Wolverine has an attack that deals big damage to Apocalypse. Use the same pattern, but whenever he's releasing the energy, we're going to double tap jump while the claws are extended, and you'll do this spinning attack. So jump over his shoulder as he releases the energy, double tap jump, and as the spin attack lands, hit him with it, and you will only need to hit him a few times to finish him off. Now let's take a look at this stage as Nightcrawler. In the first part here, we just want to keep jumping and holding down B to glide across, and you may need to release it if you feel like you're going a little bit too far. Once we get over here to Sabretooth, he can be fought in just the same way that we defeated him before, but don't be afraid to use your assists if you just want to get this fight over with quickly. You will get them back once we go inside. This outside part is not all that different as Nightcrawler. Destroy the sword so that we can go through the door. But this part is way different because we don't have to hit any of those panels. We can just go through 2 walls and now we're on the elevator that will take us to Apocalypse. You don't even have to fight Juggernaut. This time we will grab the health power up and then we can just go back down. And Apocalypse, well, Apocalypse is even easier as Nightcrawler. You can use the same trick of trying to jump over his shoulder and then attacking him after he releases energy, but that's actually unnecessary. After he charges up, just teleport in place while you're close to him, and he will try to attack Nightcrawler, but the result will be damage to Apocalypse. Apocalypse may be very powerful in the comic books, but here in the game, he is nothing against Nightcrawler. Back in the danger room, it's Professor X himself. Or at least I think it is. It's pretty hard to tell what is and is not real at this point. He reveals that the danger room has been infected by a malicious virus that is actively trying to kill us. Great. He'll need some time to hack out a strategy, and until then, we'll just have to persevere. In the meantime, the orbs are moving in a circular pattern now, which makes them a little bit harder to hit. Try to grab as many as you can to restore your health to full before moving on to the next stage. Also, if you need to switch characters, you should try to do it now, because you can only switch 2 times in the next stage. And with that, we're off to Ahab's future world. A little taste of Days of Future Past for you here. The homing ability on Gambit's cards is very effective here, and don't forget that if you charge it up, it will deal more damage, but it will not use up more energy. We needed to smash this panel here, but I guess one of our cards already got it. That's going to open one of the force fields ahead. If you see the sentinels, hit them with your staff, and that's the force field that opens. Let's take the lower path for now. A bunch of nasty little ships patrol the upper areas of this world, so for most of the X-Men, these lower areas will be safer. There are some force fields that will try to block our progress, so keep an eye open for the keys that will unlock them. And you don't want to step on that green liquid. It's definitely toxic and will damage you. There's one of the panels down there. Watch out for the gun that guards it. And then we'll head up here and work our way to the right. The top is safe at this moment, and you'll find an Iceman token up here, although we won't really need it. Unless you already did use Iceman, because, well, we will need Iceman later on in this stage. The panel we smashed is the key to opening this force field, so now we can continue to the right. There's a moving platform here, and you'll want to use a card or duck down and hit that turret. And watch out for those small things on the ground that are projecting beams. Those can definitely hurt you. Honestly, the platforming gets a little bit rough here. You can attack while you're jumping to the right or left to try to extend your jump a little bit. And if you take enough damage, you may want to switch characters. We'll swap over to Cyclops. Remember, we can only swap characters one more time, so if we switch again, we'll be stuck with whoever that is. There's a health power-up hidden down here that we can find by punching one of these windows. Most of the time, whenever you punch one of those, an alien will pop out, but sometimes there's power-ups hidden inside. Cyclops' Optic Blast can break the glass from a distance, giving you a little bit of safety from the aliens that could be hiding inside. Down here we'll find a power-up that can restore some mutant power, and then we'll climb back up and head to the right. I like taking the lower path here. It's a little bit safer for dealing with these aliens, and you may want to break out that second one before you pass by. I don't recommend dropping down here, but if you do, use Iceman before collecting the token, and then his icy platform will help you jump out of there. You may still need to do a double tap big jump to get out, but the ice will definitely be useful. Just don't mess up and collect the Iceman token first, because you're going to want it up here. Use Iceman to create a platform that'll get you across this area. It won't last forever, so hurry across. Without Iceman, Nightcrawler or Wolverine with his claws extended can jump and then hold down attack to glide across that big gap. There should be a key hidden up here behind this glass, and there it is. The key will always be there if this is the first game you've played after turning on the Genesis. However, if you die and then start a new game, it may be hidden somewhere else. So if you want to try to control the RNG, you should turn your console off and then on between each game. We can find some mutant power down here behind this glass window, but getting it may be more trouble than it's worth. Instead, you want to just keep working your way to the right. If you haven't found the key yet, smash all the windows until you do. You'll need it to get through over here. So that's the force field that you needed the key for. And the second window here, the one on the right, that contains a power-up for your health. And to get through this force field, jump and destroy this machine in the upper right corner. There's a health power-up over here, but it can be hard to jump out of there, so it might not be worth getting. You'll need to double tap jump and hold it to get out. And over here we'll face the boss, Ahab. Ahab teleports around the room, and you're mostly safe in this upper left corner when you're crouched down, at least until you actually hit this guy. Once you hit him, he disappears, and when he reappears, you need to immediately jump to avoid his counterattack. Once you've dealt him a decent amount of damage, you can use your assists. Rogue, Angel, Storm, they're all good here. And whenever the battle is finished, don't forget to grab this health power-up that's hidden off screen in the upper right corner. As Nightcrawler, we'll take a slightly different path. We can teleport through the force field here instead of breaking the panel, and we're going to follow the upper path. We're going to put Storm on, and as soon as this second portal appears, we'll activate Storm to clear out those small ships, and that should give us enough time to safely get across to the right. At this wall, jump up off screen, hold right and tap A, and when you hear the teleport end, press B and hold right to go farther. If you do it correctly, you'll get all the way through the wall, and if you don't, you'll fall down to this tier like I did the second time there, and you'll have to work your way back up to the top. Just keep following the upper path to the right, and eventually you'll come to the gap where we used Iceman when we were playing as Cyclops. We don't need Iceman. Jump to the right and hold B and right to glide all the way across. And we don't need to find the key here, although if we do get the key, it will conserve some of our mutant power. So depending on how much you have left, you may want to get it. If you don't grab the key, teleport through the wall there. We can pick up some health here. If we have enough health, we can just go through that force field, because Ahab is pretty easy to beat as Nightcrawler. We'll wait for him up here in the upper left corner, and when he appears on top of us, we'll press A to damage him, and then we can hold A to avoid his counterattack. Once this guy gets a little bit lower on health, we'll summon our assists to finish the job and save a little bit of mutant power. And don't forget to collect the health in the upper right corner. So we'll grab that before we go, and then we'll call in Angel to end the battle. And that'll do it. We've completed Stage 4, Ahab's Future World. Before we jump into the next stage, the professor has something very important to tell us. It seems that each time we complete one of these simulations, we are defeating the program, and it has to try harder to make it more dangerous. Whenever we get to the end of the program, we must reset the computer that controls the danger room. Interesting. Also interesting is that if you press the character change button here, it seems to affect the way the orbs are flying, and they're flying all over the place this time. Make sure you get your characters up to full health, because the next stage is one of the most difficult in the game. Luckily, I think we're doing pretty well here, so it's time to head on to Stage 5, Mojo's Crunch. Mojo's Crunch is not a snack food. It seems that we've reached the end of time, and now you'll notice there's a strange bar on the left side of the screen. That's the timer, and if it ever becomes fully depleted, we will get an immediate game over. You won't just lose a character, you lose the game. Good day, sir. We should have plenty of time as long as we stay focused and don't get distracted. The real danger here in Mojo's Crunch is that we can only switch characters one time, so we need to be pretty careful. Up here, we're going to find some TV traps. You'll see Mojo's face appear, and you just want to back away from those because they will quickly explode. So just back away from those TVs and you'll be okay. Up here, you would like to stay on the upper path if possible, and as you cross this area, try to stand under the TVs that have Mojo's face. No flames will appear underneath those. Over here on the right, we'll use our claws to thrash a few robots, and you can double tap the jump button to do a spinning claw attack. We're low on mutant power now, and something you should know about Wolverine is if you ever try to use your claws when you have no power, he will do a berserker rage, which is bad for you. You'll lose control of Wolverine for a time, and he'll take a bunch of damage. It looks like this. I wanted to demonstrate that for you because I was about to switch characters anyways, and whenever we finish this stage, all of our characters will get all of their health and mutant power completely restored, even ones that died, so we can be a little bit reckless right before we switch. We can't be reckless down here though, because it's time to face Mojo. Mojo's weak point is at the base of his spine, and if you try to attack him from the front, he'll just laugh and won't take any damage. You want to lure him under one of the platforms so that he launches a projectile, and then you'll have an opportunity to jump down behind him and hit him with something. You can use Cyclops' Optic Blast, you can use Wolverine's Claws, or just a basic attack. Storm is very good at hitting him as an assist. You won't need to do anything special, but to get him with Angel, you'll want to walk right into the front of Mojo, and when he tries to grab you, that's when you should unleash Rogue or Angel. Once Mojo's out of the way, we just need to destroy the computer, and although you'll find mutant power energy and health power-ups in the remaining area here, those are just a distraction to try to get you to run out of time. Assuming we can make it to the end of this stage, we'll get all of our health and energy back anyways. A lot of the power-ups are gated so that after you grab them, you'll need to punch those levers to open the gate. So that just wastes more time. The fastest path to the end is to stay at the bottom first, and once you cross over the lava, which you see here, so jump past those flames, now is when you want to go up. If you head over here, you'll reach another dead end, so I'll show you what that looks like. You can get some mutant power here, but you don't actually need it. Now we need to try to open those gates. And we will head back here where we will ascend up, and then if you go over to the right, that's where we'll find the computer. It's guarded by more of those fire traps, so look for the TVs with Mojo's face, the laughing face. And when you get to the end, kick the computer to destroy it, and now it seems like we're stuck. The professor told us we need to reset the computer. Does he mean the Genesis? And yes, he does. Very lightly tap the reset button on the Genesis, and you'll see this screen. Don't press it too hard though, or you may accidentally reset the game for real, which is certainly not desirable. It's pretty crazy that you have to actually reset the game to proceed here, but that is in fact what you need to do. It is not a joke. Now, as Nightcrawler, we can do something pretty amazing in this stage. You can actually skip the Mojo fight. To do it, you want to stay on the upper path and keep going right until you reach a dead end with a health power-up. Whenever you get there, you're going to crouch down in the lower right corner, and while holding down and right, you're going to tap A to teleport. So here's the spot right here. Tap A to teleport, and then you're going to hold B to glide, and just stay moving to the right, don't go back to the left, and you won't have to face Mojo at all. Nightcrawler can also destroy the computer from below, so you don't have to cross that room with all of the exploding TVs and fire. So go down here until you see this mutant power-up, and then teleport up through the ground and activate Angel to destroy the computer. Now just reset the Genesis, and you'll be on to the final stage. Now I certainly can't think of too many games that break the fourth wall in this way, but it makes a lot of sense here. We are resetting the computer that controls the danger room. One interesting fact here is that Sega released a portable console called the Nomad in 1995 that can play your Genesis cartridges, but it doesn't have a reset button, so you can't really beat this game on it, at least without the stage select code that I showed earlier on. Now, before you head to Asteroid M, you'll notice that all of your characters have been restored to full health and full mutant power, so it's time to go outside of the danger room to find Magneto. Here in Asteroid M, if you get caught in one of these beams, don't move. You'll just take a bunch of damage if you move or press buttons. Just wait until it goes away. Over here, wait for these beams to stop and then quickly jump to the left. You'll find a panel here that you can flip a switch on, and that will turn off the beams and will open the ground there. But if you jump over, you'll be able to access these power-ups that were behind a force field before. So grab those if you need them. You'll be able to switch 4 times in this stage, so if you need your other mutants, you'll have them available. Once again, don't move whenever you're grabbed by one of those beams. And there's a hidden power-up over here. You need to take this guy out and then jump up into the ceiling, and you'll be able to grab it. The conventional way to get through this stage is to hit a series of panels, so that's what we're going to do. As Wolverine, extend your claws, and when you see the platform appear, jump and hold B to slash down onto it, and then duck to get underneath that energy field. Make sure to hop off at the end and take out that enemy, and we're going to do a similar thing here. Jump and slash to get onto the platform, and this time we're going to jump and slash again to get rid of that enemy. Over here, we'll punch that button, and that will make this platform go to the left, and you'll also be able to ride one up to this area, where we will carefully hop to make that guy shoot, and then we'll attack him with the claws. And then we'll make our way over to the left, where we'll find another panel switch. So hit this switch and that will turn off those lasers. There is a health power up here. Double tap the jump button and hold it after the second tap to jump up that high. And you can drop through this platform if you need to, but just carefully get onto the one moving side to side and head through this door, which is now open. I like Gambit in this area. Sometimes the enemies can avoid his homing cards, but if you charge them up, it seems like it's a little bit harder for them to avoid, and it takes the same amount of mutant power regardless of whether you charged it or not, so it's pretty good value if you can hit those guys. Stay up on the top here, and we're going to summon Rogue to take out a guy at the end here as soon as you see him. So there he is, and he's gone, and we'll be able to grab another Rogue token immediately to replace her. Now this is tricky. You need to drop through the floor, whack a panel switch in mid-air, and you may need to hold a little bit to the left so that you can land on that moving platform. Ride it over this way. Hitting that switch in mid-air is not a given, and you'll need to redo it if you mess up, because whoever picks you up out of the pit will probably not be able to carry you far enough. Ride the platform again to get back over here after collecting that health. And we're going to use Angel to take out a bunch of enemies here. The assists don't work very well against the final boss, so if you can find good places to use them throughout the stage, you probably should. We're going to fire this card, which is going to distract that enemy, and then we can drop down and whack him with the stick. You may not get him with the card, but the stick will finish the job. And if you jump and throw a card at the height of your jump here, you should be able to hit that guy. Make sure you're facing right when you throw it, and you'll find some mutant power energy in this upper left corner. Some of these platforms fall when you step on them, but this one's safe. Wait for the spikes and try to run right behind them, hopping to the right. When you get over here, wait for them at the bottom, and then climb up to the top and quickly whack that enemy with your stick. Over here, we'll charge up a card and we'll get rid of this guy. We want to make sure to save as much health as we can because we're getting very close to the end, and unfortunately as Gambit, there's not a great way to get through this area, so I recommend taking this middle path and just taking some damage to get through. If you don't have more than 50% of your health bar, you should switch characters and do something else. Over here, we'll find some power-ups to completely restore us to full, and then it will be time to face Magneto. Magneto starts the battle by creating 5 rocks that will home in on your position. What you want to do is jump right before they get launched, so it's about 2 seconds after the rock forms. I usually count out 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, and then jump. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, go. After the 4th rock, Magneto will start chasing you. Make sure to lure him to the upper platforms. When he's in the middle one here, hit him with a card, and then when he comes over here to the left, he'll make a quick move. That's how you'll know to get off the platform, and you can hit him with a card as he drops down. Lure him back to the middle, and as soon as he stops to fire the laser, hit him with a card again, and then we will lure him here to the final position, and once he swoops in, we'll launch one more card to finish the fight. Let's talk about some other characters. As Nightcrawler, you can teleport through here in the middle path, and you won't take very much damage. Make sure to collect the power-ups at the end here, and you can just teleport in place to remove that enemy, and then go through the wall to activate the fight with Magneto. Once again, Magneto is going to launch 5 rocks at us, but we can just teleport in place to avoid them. So as soon as it looks like they're about to move, just start teleporting, and you should have no problem avoiding the rocks. Nightcrawler's teleport in place ability can also damage Magneto, so once he starts coming towards you, we're going to lure him to the upper platform where he will stop, and then you can attack him with a melee attack, or whenever he stops to do the lasers here in the middle, which he always does as his second attack, you can dodge that and then come over here where we can just teleport in place to damage the boss. dodge the laser, teleporting in place, and then bring him back over to this side, where we'll teleport in place again to deal him some big damage. And that's the basic Nightcrawler strategy here. Stay on the upper platforms so that he'll stop and become vulnerable. He's not vulnerable while he's floating around like that, and you won't even be able to use your assists at that time. But of course, he can't help but try to attack Nightcrawler when he's teleporting in place, and just like all the other bosses in the game, it will prove to be fatal. As Cyclops, take the lowest path. Right here, we're going to use our Optic Blast to get rid of that gun, but first you want to clear out the enemy that comes at you from the right. Stand underneath, charge up some blasts, and you may just want to rapid fire this thing because it takes quite a few shots to get rid of it. But once it's out of the way, you'll be able to safely move across to the right where you will encounter more enemies, so don't spare the Optic Blasts. You'll be able to collect those items at the end of the road right here, where we can do a double jump and launch all of our optic beams as we grab those valuable items. Cyclops' Optic Blast can deal big damage to Magneto, especially if you take the time to charge it up. I like to wait for him over here on the left side, so do your best to avoid the rocks. And once he starts flying towards you, make sure that he's going to stay on the upper platform, and you want to drop off and fire a beam. Head over here to the middle, wait for him to stop and fire a beam again, and then you can work him back over here where you can charge up a full powered blast directly below. Then just bring him back to the middle and hit him with one more. That'll do it. Wolverine is especially suited to the upper path, where he can clear out these machine enemies, which will deal big damage to your other characters, but can barely scratch Wolverine. So just slash your way through, collect the power-ups at the end, and then it will be time for Wolverine to face Magneto. You'd think Wolverine's Adamantium skeleton would be a disadvantage here, but it's really not. Avoid the rocks just like with the other characters, and then we're going to try to lure Magneto to this upper platform where he will become vulnerable, and this time we're going to hit him with the claws. So jump over this rock, and he's going to start coming at us after this rock. And now we'll bring out the claws and attack him. When he comes over here to the middle, you want to double tap jump to do the spinning claw attack, which can disrupt his laser beam. And then when he comes over here, we'll do a normal claw attack, bring him back to the middle, double tap jump, and that'll finish the fight. Now, what if I told you you can beat the entire game in under 10 minutes? And we're going to do it on superhero mode just for fun. Select Gambit, and as you jump over onto the spot that takes you to the next stage, hold down A and release it as soon as you see the next screen, and you'll warp back to the danger room. Do this 3 times, and that will take you to the Excalibur Lighthouse. So we did it 3 times. Now we're going to switch over to Nightcrawler because we need to play through the first part of the Excalibur Lighthouse, but there is another big shortcut we can use here. So quickly work your way to the right and eliminate Sabretooth with your assists. You definitely won't need them after this battle, so we'll launch Storm here, and that should do the trick. And then we're going to head over to the right where we'll get rid of the sword to open the door, but then we need to switch to Gambit. So switch to Gambit here, and as you enter the door, hold down A and release it on the next screen to skip the next part of the stage. Now that's all of the Gambit skips that we are able to do. You can't skip any more levels with him, but you can skip quite a couple. So we are going to switch over to Nightcrawler, and we're going to do our best to quickly traverse Ahab's future world. It makes sense to stay up at the top and just quickly jump and glide your way through. Use Storm to clear out the enemies up here. That'll give you some breathing room. and we should be able to finish this one in no time. The big trick here is to make sure that you get all the way through the wall and hold down B on the other side. That time I did an extra teleport to get through the wall because I didn't think I was going to make it, and that may be a problem moving forward because now we don't have a whole lot of mutant power and we'll have to improvise a bit in the next section. This is superhero mode, so it's a little bit harder, but we're just moving to the big gap here where we'll do a huge jump that will get us across, and this time we're going to actually grab the key so that we won't need to teleport through the wall ahead. That'll save some mutant power. Finding the key doesn't really take a lot of time when you know where it is, and over here we can get some health, and then we're just going to drop through this force field and hurry on to Ahab. Yeah, that's right, we're already to Ahab. We're going to use Nightcrawler's teleport ability to make short work of this boss, and we will finish him using our X-Men assists. Make sure that this guy is on screen whenever you summon Angel. It seems to work pretty good down here at the bottom, but we will need Rogue to end this one, it looks like. Alright, that's the end of stage 4. Now we'll quickly head to stage 5 where we're going to skip Mojo, but we may need to spend a few seconds grabbing some orbs here because we do want to have enough mutant power so that we can do that skip. I think that'll probably be enough. Let's head to Mojo's Crunch. Well, the time limit's going to be no problem here. Just keep jumping and pressing attack so that you can glide across, and taking the upper path here is probably safer. So just stay at the top. As Nightcrawler, you're fast enough to get ahead of those television screens, and you can easily clear that in a couple of jumps, so you don't really have to worry much about the fire floors either. Stay at the top here so that you can reach the dead end where we can skip Mojo. You don't want to have to fight that boss. So just keep working your way across, and this is where you don't want to fall down. Alright, grab the power up, hold down and right, and then just work your way across to the right. We're almost to the final stage. Whenever we get to the end here, we're just going to jump up through the floor like we did before. We'll summon Angel to destroy the computer, and then we'll quickly tap reset to reset the Genesis and go on to the final stage. So teleport through, use Angel, make sure the computer is destroyed, and then hit reset. If you're trying to skip through this next cutscene, you just want to hold down start. That will get you through it as quickly as possible. Although this is kind of an interesting cutscene that shows a few characters that aren't even in the game, including the Beast. So there's good old Beastie, and I believe Psylocke is there too. But all of our characters have refilled health and mutant power, so we'll head on to Asteroid M. We haven't looked at the Nightcrawler route through Asteroid M yet, and you better believe it involves several shortcuts, including one right here at the beginning where you can go through the first wall. You can also go through that second wall, and that will bring you out here, and then just keep working your way to the right. Up here at the top is where you found the Rogue token before, and once again we can teleport through the wall. Make sure to do a big jump and glide after you teleport so you make it far enough across. We can do a small shortcut here with Nightcrawler to conserve mutant power. Double tap jump to jump to your highest point, launch Iceman, and then jump up onto his icy path, and you'll be able to jump through the wall if you placed it high enough. Quickly work your way to the right, avoiding those spikes, and we are now almost to the end of the game. We just need to teleport through here to try to avoid some damage, and then we'll collect these power-ups at the end of the road and teleport through the wall to Magneto. The absolute best way to defeat Magneto is to start with Nightcrawler, and you want to do a big jump up above him and hold a teleport above his head off screen. If you do this for a while, he will stop being able to target you with the rocks, and then we can drop down to the left safely. You'll see that he'll continue to summon the rocks, but they won't hit us anymore. Now switch to Cyclops. Whenever Magneto comes over towards you, jump in the air on the left side and hold down your mutant power so that when you land, it can fully charge and you can hit him with a beam. Hit him with one in the middle, then charge up another one underneath, and you can defeat Magneto in just 3 hits. And that's it. We've done it. We've beaten X-Men for the Sega Genesis. All we can do now is sit back, relax, and enjoy the cheesy ending. From the looks of things, it seems that Dr. Manhattan stepped in to shut down Magneto once and for all. Okay, that's definitely not Dr. Manhattan. That's supposed to be Professor Xavier, and he seems to be speaking to Magneto through telepathy, although Magneto still has the helmet on. Magneto is a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy. He's suffered so much at the hands of humanity that it's hard to not understand why he would want to rebel against it. But Magneto's methods are not the way. The water and the flame are one, a harmony of opposition. The fire of the sun evaporates water to bring rain, which floods the earth only to sprout life with the help of the sun's rays. The X-Men are the sun. Through example and unity, we can overcome adversity and remake this world from our dreams. But because of mutants like Magneto, the dream we reach for is tainted in the human heart. Magneto and Professor Xavier may never truly see eye to eye, but the Professor will not kill Magneto today. He says, "Only time will tell if my vision is any clearer than yours. Nevertheless, I am forced to destroy your computers to eradicate your virus once and for all. And with that, this battle is over, but the war will always rage." Using his powerful telepathic abilities, the Professor smashes Magneto's satellite dish, disabling it once and for all. As the scene fades out, we head back to Earth, where we see the full team once again. Psylocke, Wolverine, the Beast, Rogue, Gambit, Jean Grey, Cyclops, and even Professor X. For what we choose to believe, we live and die for. We strive to better the world we were thrown into. We are the X-Men. Roll the credits. When I was a kid, I thought this game was very difficult, like Battletoads difficult, but now I know that is not the case. I didn't own my own Sega until I was a little bit older, but I would swap consoles with other kids all the time, and I think everyone I borrowed a Genesis from had this game. This was a game that I tried a number of times, but I don't think I ever got past the part in Stage 2 where you have to stand on the back of a spaceship. That was just a little too difficult for me. It's also very discouraging when you lose a character in this game. Not only do you have to go back to the beginning of the current stage, but you can't use that character anymore unless you make it all the way to the final level. So yeah, that is pretty tough. As an adult, once I got used to the controls and understood what the game was all about, it really isn't that difficult to beat, especially if you use Nightcrawler, but even with the other mutants, it's not too bad. Well, I hope this video was able to help you finally beat X-Men, deleting the virus from the danger room once and for all. If it did, make sure to give it a like, and make sure to subscribe for more videos. Because there will always be more perilous simulations for us to survive, and that's why we'll be back again next week with another video game you can beat. Thanks for watching.